Hi viewers, welcome to Iduru Education YouTube channel. If you are watching my channel for the first time, please do subscribe my channel, like the video, tap the bell icon for updates and share with your friends and family members. Thank you. Hi viewers, today in this video I will explain the lesson 3 questions from class 7th CBSE English. This video will be in bilingual method. It means Telugu and English. The thought came to a certain king that he would never fail if he knew 3 things. So, రాజుకి కొన్ని డౌట్స్ ఉండేవన్నమాట. సో వాటిని తెలుసుకుంటే అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్లో ఎప్పటికీ ఫెయిల్యూర్ అనేది రాదు అనే ఉద్దేశంతో రాజు ఉండేవారు. These 3 things were: what is the right time to begin something? Which people should he listen to? What is the most important thing for him to do? Then what are those questions or doubts? The very first question is, what is the right time to begin something? ఏదైనా ఒక పనిని ప్రారంభించడానికి, స్టార్ట్ చేయడానికి కరెక్ట్ టైం ఏంటి? సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్, విచ్ పీపుల్ షుడ్ హీ లిసన్ టు? ఎవరి మాటలు రాజు ఖచ్చితంగా వినాలి? దిస్ ఇస్ సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్. థర్డ్ క్వశ్చన్, what is the most important thing for him to do? So third question is, అసలు అతి ముఖ్యమైనటువంటి అత్యంత ఇంపార్టెంట్, వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ వర్క్ ఏంటి రాజుకి? సో the king had these 3 questions, and the king therefore sent messengers throughout his kingdom, promising a large sum of money to anyone who would answer these 3 questions. So immediately this king sent some messengers into his kingdom, and also he offered a large amount of money or reward to the people who could answer these 3 questions. So వెంటనే ఈ రాజు మెసెంజర్స్ని పంపించారన్నమాట కింగ్డమ్లోకి, రాజ్యంలోకి. ఈ క్వశ్చన్స్కి ఎవరైతే ఆన్సర్ చెప్తారో వాళ్ళకి మంచి రివార్డ్ అనేది ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది అని అనౌన్స్ చేయమని పంపిస్తాడు. మెనీ వైజ్ మెన్ కేమ్ టు ద కింగ్, బట్ దే ఆల్ ఆన్సర్డ్ హిస్ క్వశ్చన్స్ డిఫరెంట్లీ. చాలామంది తెలివిగల వాళ్ళు వచ్చారు కింగ్స్ కోర్ట్కి, కానీ వాళ్ళు డిఫరెంట్గా ఆన్సర్ చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. In reply to the first question, some said the king must prepare a timetable and then follow it strictly. Only in this way, they said, could he do everything at its proper time. So, for the first question, what is the right time to begin something? So, some people advised or answered to this question that the king should prepare a timetable when a particular work should be done. And then others said that it was impossible to decide in advance the right time for doing something. So some more people, they opposed. They said that it is very difficult to decide is a better time to begin or to do something, some work. Then the king should notice all that was going on, avoid foolish pleasures, and always do whatever seemed necessary at that time. Yet others said that the king needed a council of wise men who would help him act at the proper time. This was because one man would find it impossible to decide correctly without help from others. The right time for every action. So, some other people, they revealed their opinion, they shared their opinion that only one person cannot decide the right or wrong. So, discussion should be made. So that's why some other people answered that the king should have the counselors. Counselors means a group of people chosen to give advice or to make rules. Council. But then others said that there were some things which could be urgent. These things could not wait for the decision of the council. In order to decide the right time for doing something, it is necessary to look into the future, and only magicians could do that. The king, therefore, would have to go to magicians. So, for every action, for every decision, we cannot depend upon the others. Sometimes we have to take spot decisions, on the spot decisions. So we cannot wait for others or others' opinion. So at that time, the people answered or suggested to meet the magicians because they could see the future. They can estimate the future. So that's why some people suggested to meet the magicians. In their answers to the second question, some said that the people most necessary to the king were his counselors. Others said the priests. A few others chose the doctors, and yet others said that his soldiers were the most necessary. So, other question. Second question. So, whose words he should listen? The king should listen. So, different people gave different answers. Some people told that counselors, the group of people, members of the council, counselors are the important people, and the king has to listen to them. And some others said priests, some people doctors, and some others gave their answers as soldiers. To the third question, some said science, others chose fighting, and yet others religious worship. So third question ki కొంతమంది వర్షిప్ అన్నారు, ఆరాధన. వర్షిప్ మీన్స్ పూజ చేయడం. ఫైటింగ్, war, and others religious worship. As the answers to his questions were so different, the king was not satisfied and gave no reward. Instead, he decided to seek the advice of a certain hermit who was widely known for his wisdom. So, the king did not get satisfied. He was not satisfied because different people gave different answers. So that's why he did not give or offer any reward to any person. And finally, the king decided to meet a hermit. So the hermit means a person who lives alone and leads simple life. So finally, the king decided to meet hermit in order to get the answers for those three questions. సో చివరగా ఈ రాజు హెర్మిట్ మీట్ అవ్వాలని డిసైడ్ అవుతాడు. నెక్స్ట్, ద హెర్మిట్ లివ్డ్ ఇన్ ఎ వుడ్ విచ్ హీ నెవర్ లెఫ్ట్. He saw no one but simple people, and so the king put on ordinary clothes. Before he reached the hermit's hut, the king left his horse with his bodyguard and went on alone. Generally, this hermit meets only simple people. He likes to meet only the simple people. So that's why this king dressed himself as a simple person, a common man. And then he reached that hermit. Before going to meet the hermit, he gave the horse to his bodyguard. As the king came near the hermit's hut, he saw the hermit digging the ground in front of his hut. He greeted the king and continued digging. The hermit was old and weak, and as he worked, he breathed heavily. So finally, the king reached the hermit place, or hermit's living place. When he reached that living place, the hermit was digging the beds, and he was taking breath heavily because he's an old man. He is looking very old and weak. The king went up to the hermit and said, "I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer 3 questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I need most? And what affairs are the most important?" So here the king informed about his doubts. The hermit listened to the king but did not speak. He went on digging. "You are tired," said the king. "Let me take the spade and work in your place." సో ఈ రాజు చెప్పినటువంటి మాటలన్నీ విన్నాడన్నమాట హెర్మిట్. విని కామ్గా ఉన్నాడు. హీ డి నాట్ స్పీక్. అతనేం మాట్లాడలేదు. And then the king only asked him, "You are tired," said the king. "Let me take the spade and work in your place." So the king felt pity. The king felt pity on the hermit, as he was an old man and he's taking breaths heavily. So that's why the king decided to do some work in his place. "Thanks," said the hermit, giving the king his spade. Then he sat down on the ground. So dear viewers, you can see the picture of hermit and the king in front of the hut in this picture. And then when the king had dug 2 beds, he stopped and repeated his questions. The hermit gave no answer but stood up, stretching out his hand for the spade, and said, "Now you rest and let me work." సో ఈ రాజు కొంతసేపు తవ్విన తర్వాత, ఆ గుంతలు తవ్విన తర్వాత మళ్ళీ అడుగుతాడన్నమాట. He repeats the 3 questions, those 3 questions. And then the hermit stood up and he asks the spade from the king. Then, "Now you rest and let me work." But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. కానీ రాజు ఆ స్పేడ్ని it is one kind of instrument to dig the ground. But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. సో రాజు ఆ స్పేడ్ని హెర్మిట్కి ఇవ్వలేదన్నమాట. అతను కంటిన్యూగా డిగ్ చేస్తూ ఉన్నాడు. And then 1 hour passed, then another. The sun went down behind the trees, and at last the king stuck the spade into the ground and said, I came to you, wise man, for answer to my questions. If you can give me no answer, tell me so, and I will return home. Here comes someone running, said the hermit. సో మళ్ళీ ఈ రాజు వర్క్ చేస్తూ ఆ స్పీడ్ని అట్లా గ్రౌండ్లో స్ట్రక్ చేసి మళ్ళీ అడుగుతాడు అన్నమాట హెర్మిట్. ఓ వైజ్ హెర్మిట్, ఐ హ్యావ్ కమ్ హియర్ టు నో ద ఆన్సర్స్ ఫర్ 3 questions. If you can answer, please tell me. Otherwise, I will go back to home. And then this hermit says, Here comes someone running, said the hermit. So he told that hermit informed the king, who dressed himself as a simple man, about someone is running towards them. So viewers, this is the first part of the lesson.